Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the money in your wallet, the money in your bank account, even the currency your entire country depends on, has suddenly become worthless. The numbers on your screen are still there, the paper bills still look the same, but they no longer buy anything meaningful. It sounds like a nightmare, but history shows that this has happened many times before. Entire currencies have collapsed, powerful empires have fallen, and millions of people who trusted money alone lost everything. Yet something surprising always happens during these financial disasters. While many people are wiped out, others manage to protect their wealth. They survived not because they were lucky, but because they owned the right assets before the collapse began. So the real question is this: if the financial system failed tomorrow, what would actually hold value? Today on Wealth Decoded, we're exploring one of the most powerful lessons history can teach us: what assets survive when money doesn't. And if you enjoy learning how money, history, and power shape the world around us, consider subscribing to Wealth Decoded. To understand how money can lose its value, we need to go back nearly 2,000 years to one of the most powerful civilizations the world has ever known, the Roman Empire. At its peak, Rome controlled vast territories across Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Its army was unstoppable, its trade networks were enormous, and its currency, the Roman Denarius, was trusted throughout the empire. Merchants accepted it across continents, soldiers were paid with it, and taxes were collected in it. For centuries, this silver coin symbolized stability and economic strength. But as Rome expanded, its spending exploded. The empire had to finance massive armies, endless wars, roads, aqueducts, and an enormous bureaucracy. Eventually, the Roman government faced a problem that many governments still struggle with today: they were spending far more money than they were earning. Instead of cutting spending, Roman leaders chose a shortcut that appears again and again throughout financial history. They began reducing the amount of silver inside their coins. At first, the change was subtle. The coins still looked the same, and most people didn't notice. But decade after decade, the silver content continued shrinking. What had once been a nearly pure silver coin slowly turned into a copper coin with only a thin silver coating. The appearance stayed the same, but the real value was disappearing. As more of these diluted coins entered the economy, people slowly realized what was happening. Trust in the currency began to weaken. Merchants raised prices to protect themselves. Soldiers demanded higher pay because their wages were losing purchasing power. Trade became unstable. Inflation spread throughout the empire. By the 3rd century, the Roman denarius had lost most of its value. Money that once represented wealth had become unreliable. But something important happened during this chaos. People didn't stop trading. Society didn't suddenly disappear. Instead, they shifted their wealth away from unreliable money and into things that held real value. Land became incredibly important. If you owned productive farmland, you could grow food, feed your family, and trade with others. In uncertain times, land that produced real resources became far more reliable than coins whose value could change overnight. Precious metals also survived the crisis. Even though Roman coins were being diluted, actual physical gold and silver still held value. People trusted the metal itself more than the government's currency stamp. Wealthy families often hid gold jewelry or older high-purity coins, preserving their purchasing power while the official currency continued to decline. Essential goods became another form of wealth. Grain, olive oil, wine, livestock, tools, and textiles always had value because people needed them to survive. In unstable economies, useful goods often become more valuable than money itself. And perhaps the most overlooked asset of all was skill. Blacksmiths, farmers, builders, doctors, and craftsmen remained valuable regardless of what happened to the currency. When money loses trust, the ability to produce something useful becomes a powerful form of economic security. The collapse of Rome teaches a powerful lesson about money. But history wasn't finished testing that lesson. Nearly 1500 years later, the world experienced another devastating financial crisis, the Great Depression. In 1929, the global economy crashed. Banks failed across the United States and Europe. Millions of people rushed to withdraw their savings, only to discover that many